Hello everyone and welcome to Nemesis, my solo playthrough of the very popular board game that's been out for about 4 years now I think, although a new version of it called Lockdown just came out, well the Kickstarter started shipping earlier this year. But you're probably very familiar with this if you are in the kind of board game space. It's very popular, it's the highest rated cooperative experience board game on most people's lists. And we're going to be playing it solo today. It can be played solo, it can be played fully cooperatively, and then the base mode of the game is semi-co-op. You can't hurt each other directly, but you can indirectly hurt each other if you're a corporate man and you're trying to do the corporate goals in the game. But I am going to explain roughly just a general setup for the game. It's not a how to play though. We played maybe like 3 or 4 full games online with some friends. But even then, I was warned when I went into Nemesis by some viewers of my gaming Twitch channel. Just accept that sometimes you're going to forget little rules, or you're going to get to turn 6 and remember something you didn't do in turn 3. There's just lots of tiny little things that are very easy to forget if you're trying to plan your strategy while you dodge aliens. And that's what this is. You play as one or more characters if you're playing solo. To have a quick starting game, I am just going to be playing as the soldier here, who has woken up from the hibernatorium aboard the good ship Nemesis, which isn't a great name for a ship, honestly. It has a very sinister overtone. But I'm going to be playing as the soldier. We'll look at his character card and whatnot in a second. But you wake up from hibernation and you're suffering from hibernation sickness, so you don't remember the layout of the ship, which is why there's a bunch of turned markers all the way aboard the ship. And you also don't know what state they're in, which is why they have little question marks on them. Those are various status effects that the rooms are afflicted by. It also determines how many lootables are in each room. And more alarmingly, in the same room as where you've woken up, there's a little token here to denote a corpse of one of your crew members with a hole in their chest. So something is definitely wrong. You're not alone on the ship. There are intruders on the ship. So there is set goals of just survive, but the way you survive in Nemesis can vary, and that also depends on what your solo/co-op objective is, which is this deck here. Now again, if you're playing the base game mode, which is semi-cooperative, you get 2 objectives, a personal one and a corporate one, and at the point at which an alien is discovered, you choose which one to do. But because I'm playing solo, we're just going to draw one right now, have a little look at it, and then I'll be able to take a more direct route to what we need to do and explain only what I need to, rather than bogging down the start of this video with nonsense. So I'll pull this top card, put those away. Destination Earth. The ship must reach Earth. They've sent us out here to die. They should clean up their own mess. So that's my goal. I'll leave it next to the hibernatorium here. I have to make sure the Nemesis survives and goes to Earth, which means I have a few different objectives. I need to make sure the ship is going to Earth, which means I need to get over to this far left of the table over here, you can't quite see. Make sure the ship's coordinates are set to Earth. And I have to make sure at least 2 of the 3 engines, of which you can see 2 on the top right here, but there's one down here too. I need to make sure at least 2 out of the 3 of those are working. I also need to make sure that there's not too much fire, not too much malfunctions, because those can make the ship explode as well. And before turn 15, I need to make sure that I'm in hypersleep, because if the ship goes to hyperspace while I'm still awake, you die. If there's more than 1 broken engine when the ship goes to hyperspace, you die. There's just a lot of ways that it could just outright kill you. I apologise for a bit of glare on the cards here, but let's look at the soldier's card as well, and then we're basically good to get started. We know what our objective is. I guess I could technically leave it slotted in here to remind myself, which is I think what these are for, because you're supposed to keep your objectives hidden if you're playing semi-cooperatively. Other parts of the board we don't really need to worry about is escape pods, because my goal is not to escape pod out of the ship to live, which is another way to survive. I can't. The Nemesis has to reach Earth, so I'll be ignoring and not interacting with that feature of the game. And hopefully also ignoring this track here on the board, top left, which is the self-destruct sequence, because I can't have the ship explode, which is again another way to kind of defeat the aliens and get out alive, because the escape pods activate halfway through the countdown on the self-destruct. But anyway, all the characters that come with the game basically have the same card. You have crafting, which you use found items to craft. You have a left hand and a right hand. You have a list of your basic actions. You discard one of your hand to do any of these basic actions. You discard 2 to do careful movement, which we'll talk about as it happens. We have a marker for if we send a signal. We have a marker for if we're slimed. We have wound markers, serious wound markers, and we have a deck of 10 cards. And at the start of the game we'll be drawing 5. The soldier starts with an assault rifle with 5 ammo, which you can just about see down here. When he does at least 1 injury, the assault rifle does 1 extra injury. The last thing to mention is each character class has a couple of quests. You don't need to do these. These are just to get you one-time use gear. So if I find the armory, I can get myself an autoloader. And if I discard tools or duct tape, I get some armor, which could be helpful against the inevitable alien threat. I think that about covers it. There is one last board to look at, which would be the alien intruder board. Yeah, let's do that actually, real quick. So a bit of an awkward angle, but here's the last thing. You don't really need to see these, so don't worry about them. But the intruder board marks that there's 5 eggs in a nest. There's an alien nest somewhere on board. That is inevitable. It will be found at some point. There's 3 cards that say intruder weakness there. If I find a certain room and take certain corpses or an egg to there, I can discover alien weaknesses. We have contamination cards over here, which I'll be taking if I take wounds. Light wounds turn into serious wounds if you get hit too many times, and that red thing up there is a scanner, because even if you're contaminated, it doesn't necessarily mean you're infected. So that's for checking for that. Down here you can see this is the bridge, which I didn't really show on camera before. It always starts at position B, but we don't know where B is. We have to get there, discard 2 cards, and flip that card to see where the ship is actually going. I think it's Earth, Mars, Venus, or Deep Space are the 4 potential options there. And these are the item decks. Different rooms have different items, but yellow are kind of maintenance, green is healing, red is aggressive. And then that's the dice the game uses as well. And with that, I think we are about to get started. So I've never played a game with just, well, solo for one, completely solo, but also just 1 character. I think the ideal number for solo is 2, but this is just kind of to ease into how this records, how well it does on the channel, and that kind of thing. In general though, I think I want to do a route around the board, starting here, kind of going around clockwise, check the bridge, make sure we're going to Earth, go full circle, and then check the engines, and hopefully by that point we'll be on turn 8 or less, because at that point I can go back inside the hibernatorium and coast back to Earth, hopefully. It never works out that way though. This is a very difficult game in general, and with that we're going to begin our first turn, and I'm going to take the action deck I showed you. I'm going to take the first 5 cards because I have shuffled these in advance. Every character class in the game basically has the same deck with just a few slight differences to fit the theme. The soldier has a few attack based cards, the captain can order you around, the scout can covering fire to move or move themselves. So we don't necessarily need to pay attention to what's on the cards, but I'll show them off. Ideally, hopefully not too much out of focus. So we got a basic repair card. We got an interruption, which is for multiplayer only, so it's just good for discarding when you're playing solo or fully cooperative. A rest card, a demolition card, and nerves of steel. So these are all things that you can do what's on the card, or you can discard them for basic actions, careful actions, etc. So, on that note, I'm going to discard that interruption card I showed. Just put it face down. I'm just putting it to the right of my board. And we're just going to move, and I'm going to move to the south to this room you can see here. And when you move, you walk through the corridors here, which are the green highlighted areas, and then you find out what room you've discovered, because again you're suffering from hibernation sickness, so you don't know where anything is anymore. We found the engine room, which is actually fantastic, because that means I can check the status of an engine remotely, if I'm willing to spend some time here, unless it's broken of course. It's not broken, it's covered in slime, which is also bad. So the 3 denotes how many lootables are in the room, so what you do is you see the 3 on the number, you match it up to the red arrow, that has 3 searchables. I walk in here, and now I'm going to need to do a noise roll and then also put slime on my card. Slime by itself doesn't do anything unless I roll an X on this die I'm about to roll, which is your noise roll. This isn't noise you're making, oh that's almost as bad. That isn't noise you're making, it's noise you're hearing, and that result I just rolled meant that I'm hearing noise in every corridor attached to the room I'm in. So I'm going to have to look out more tokens than I had available, so give me a second. So there we go, these little yellow markers are noise markers, and he, as a result of rolling the scratches there, has heard noise in every corridor attached to the room I'm currently in. Normally, if you'd roll the X, incidentally, on that D10, it's a good result. It means you've moved entirely silently. Well, you don't hear anything around you. If you're slimed, you count it as those claw marks. So, doomed either way as far as that roll goes. The way it works, if you're playing multiple characters, is you can do two things, and then you pass. Or, sorry, then you hand it over to the next player, and that goes round until you either run out of cards, you can only play one card, or you just choose not to play any other cards, at which point you pass your turn for the round, and then the round timer goes down once everybody has done the same. Because I'm playing solo, we're essentially just playing on until I'm out of cards, if I choose to. We've got one more action in this section though, and we're slimed. I can't do anything about that. So I think I'm going to get rid of a basic repair card and a rest card, so that I can do a... well, do I want to search the engines now? Does it matter? I guess while I don't want to come back to this room. I was going to search, but yeah, I think I should check the status of the engines. I'm going to just dump two of my cards. Again, it doesn't matter what the cards are, as long as they're not contamination cards, because you can't use those for actions. That leaves me with two in my hand, and that means I can use the room ability, which says check status of engines. Now I need to double check whether that lets me check them all or one per check. I presume it's one per check, but I'm going to double check. Alright, I'm glad I double checked, because I can actually check all three engines. I just can't fix them if they're broken. So I always forget if you go by what's on the bottom card or what's on the top. So I'm just going to turn the top one. These were randomized as part of game setup. I don't know what they are. So engine 1 is damaged. That's perfect. Engine 2 is working. That's good. And then engine 3, oh, it's working. Perfect. As long as 2 out of the 3 engines are working, the ship will successfully go to warp. So I don't need to worry about fixing anything at present. So we don't... well, there might be events that break engines. At the end of a round there's events, there's intruder steps, and then what's called intruder bag development, where the aliens on board are... evolving may not be the right word, but changing their tactics, let's say. Okay, so that might be worth ending a turn there to see that. I've got a demolition card and a nerve of steel. Yeah, I think we will. So let's go over what happens when you end a round proper. So at the end of the round, the first thing you do is you time that down by 1. As quick as that. Games with just one character go much quicker than multiple, especially if you've not got multiple people. Then you would do intruder attacks. If there was intruders on the board, you would do fire damage if there was fire on board the ship, but there's none. So then you move to the event phase, where you draw an event card. I've shuffled this deck in advance. There's quite a few of them, as you can see. So you're just gonna have to trust me that I'm pulling the top card off the deck, or flipping it, and then you read from top to bottom. The top half is aliens of the types marked move to the section indicated, but there's no aliens on board, so we can ignore that. Hatching. Discard 1 egg from the intruder board. Any characters in the nest room whose players have no action cards left are infested with a larva, they get face hugged. If no character was infested, put a larva token into the intruder bag. So remember that intruder board I showed you earlier at the start of the game? It starts with 5 eggs on it. So one of those eggs, if I just reach over here, one of those eggs is now gone, and because there was no one in the nest, let's see. Any character in the nest? Nope. If no character was infested, put a larva in the intruder bag. I presume that part still happens even though we haven't found the nest. So the intruder bag is what we're going to be using next anyway, so give me a moment. Alright, we have a larva token. It is going in the intruder development bag. And then I am shuffling it up with what the game by default tells you should be in this bag, which is there. And then I have the rules handy. So during the intruder development step, you shake this bag up, you pull something from it, and then the aliens change in some way based on what you pulled. I actually pulled the blank, of which there is 1 in there, so let me just double check what it tells you to do. Add 1 adult intruder to the bag, and then return the blank to the bag. So the blank is going back in that bag. Another adult icon is going in. That's like your standard alien that we're most likely to run into, and then a new round starts. So I ended my first round with 2 cards still in my hand. I could have discarded those if I wanted a full new hand, but I didn't. So that means I just draw 3 more, because I have to get back to a hand size of 5, which I have done. Taking aim, covering fire. I got cards related to combat, which we don't really care about yet. So, first action of this new turn. I'm going to... oh, I could search where I am, which would give me potentially a duct tape or a tool because it's a yellow room. So yeah, let's use a search card. It's a specific card. If a number is in this number up here, you have to discard that number of cards along with the one you're playing in order to use it, but that's 0, so you just play it. Reduce the item counter by 1, draw 2 items of the same colour of the room you're in, pick one, discard the other to the bottom of the deck. So, there was 3 items in here, tick tick, boom, there's now 2. I've shuffled these in advance, so we'll just draw 2 cards. So I can either take tools or technical corridor plans, which is kind of like a teleport. You go into the vents of the ship and can move around faster. I need the tools, so I'm taking those and discarding the technical plans because I can use those to give myself armor. On that note, it says discard tools or duct tape to activate this item. I need to do a card discard to do it, so let's get rid of demolition. And that means we also get rid of the tools I just got, so they're gone. But I finished this quest. And if I finish this quest, I flip this over and I get armor. 1 use only. And it's only usable in combat. I can discard this after an intruder attacks me in order to ignore the attack. So that's good. And again, if we were playing with other people at this point, I would now have to hand it over to the next player because I've done 2 actions. But because we're just solo, it doesn't matter. It's just straight back to me. Okay, let's discard covering fire in order to move rooms. You can discard 2 to move carefully, and if you move carefully you still hear noise, but you choose where it's from. I'm taking the chance. I'm going to just wander over here through this corridor to this room here, which, oh, this card's in the way. Let me move it. There we are. This room here, and we're going to do a noise roll, but first of all let's see what state the room is and what the room is. Evacuation section B, so that's to try and enter escape pods once they're open. What's wrong with it? It's also slimed. It has 4 items in it. You can't get double slimed, thankfully, so we're not double slimed, but we do have to roll for noise. And we got a 4, which means a noise token is in this passage here. If you get a result that already has a noise token, so if I'd rolled a 1 there, if there's already noise there, that means we encounter an intruder, but thankfully that didn't happen this time. So there's nothing really to do in this room, so I'm probably going to move again. I kind of want to move carefully though, so I don't accidentally get an intruder in the cockpit. Yeah, I think I'll pass there. Yeah, because I like the cards I have in my hand as well. Yeah, I'm going to pass there, so we go to the end of round steps again. So there's no intruders on the board, but we tick down to 13. We draw an event card because there's no fire or anything else to handle either. We flip it. There's no movement to be done because again there's nobody on there. Scent of prey. Place a noise marker in every corridor connected to a room containing a character with a slime marker. Oh no! It's custom built to annoy me. Except corridors that already have noise markers. So at least it doesn't force a spawn. The only corridor attached to my character that hasn't got a noise token is this little red dot here, which means he's now hearing noise in the vent. You don't put a noise token there to denote that. Oh, you can just see it, top left, red circle. That's where you put that, which affects a lot of rooms, because a lot of rooms are connected to those vents. So that is very unfortunate, but at least it still didn't spawn an alien, and then we have to do bag development. So once again, just get that out of the way as well, there we go. Shake the bag up, grab the bag, and we're going to do this. Oops. It is an adult marker. So, now I have to check again, so I know I'm doing this right. Oops, as I dropped one of the leaflets. All players roll for noise in turn order. If the player character is in combat, they would get attacked instead. And then return the intruder, the adult intruder token back to the bag. This is really bad because it means I can't avoid having an encounter with an alien. Because there's noise all around me. And because even if I roll the X, I'm slimed. So it doesn't really matter what I'm rolling. I've rolled the X, which would have been fantastic in normal circumstance, but because I'm slimed, it means... Actually, because it means noise in every corridor, I wonder if that means you don't get attacked. I'm going to double check that. Alright, so just looking at the book, because I rolled the X, which would normally be silence, I'm slimed, so it becomes the danger symbol, which is the claws. If there's an intruder in the neighbouring room, it would come and get you. There's not. If there's no intruders in any neighbouring rooms, or if they're all in combat, place a noise marker in each corridor connected to the rooms that doesn't already have one. But then that's it. It doesn't say anything else. So I actually think you don't get an intruder attack there. I could be wrong about that, by all means point it out if I am, but that's the way that reads to me because of the danger symbol / silence symbol being slimed. Could be wrong. Either way, the adult intruder goes back in the bag and a new round starts. Alright, there was 2 cards left to draw that I hadn't taken yet, so that means I needed to shuffle my discard pile and draw another one. I've done that off camera and I haven't been showing every specific card I'm getting every turn, because most of the time you're discarding them for a purpose other than what is denoted on the cards, and I feel like that would slow the game down a little bit. But by all means, if you want to see the cards that I draw each turn, you can tell me, and I will. But as I say, I think it would slow down things a bit too much. So anyway, we need to get out of here, and I think I'm going to move carefully, which means I need to discard 2. And then I would need to discard 2 more to check the coordinates. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I've been holding on to the Nerves of Steel card I mentioned, because if I get surprise attacked, it negates it, which would be very, very good. So I'll discard Full Auto and Basic Repairs, 2 other cards, in order to move carefully. That means I can move where I want, and then I decide where I hear noise. I'm going to move to the cockpit and say that I hear noise in this corridor, the 1-2 corridor there. Then for my other action, I'm going to get rid of a search and a taking aim, because you need to spend 2 in the cockpit to look at the coordinates. So, it's currently going to be, where is B? Venus. Okay, so that means I need to shift it to Earth, which is C, because that's my one goal, is to get to Earth. So we're currently going the wrong way. That's bad. I also only have 1 card left in my hand, so I'm going to end my turn there, I think. Yeah, I have to, because I need 2 more cards to change the coordinates. Time for the pain of drawing an event card, because there's no other intruders on the board. Hunt. Move every adult intruder not in combat to the neighbouring room with a character if possible. There are several rooms to choose from. Move adults. Nope, there's no adults on the map yet. We're doing pretty well being silent. So that's nothing. We do still need to do intruder bag development, of course. An adult token could be bad. It's the most common token in here, it's worth pointing out, especially because there's an extra one in there now. It's a larva token. If I remember rightly, although I'm going to double check, I believe you just replace that with an adult and nothing else happens. I've got the book here. Let's see. Remove this token from the intruder bag and add 1 adult to the intruder bag instead. Again, increasing your odds of getting that result. Alright, back around to another turn. I've drawn a full hand and I'm going to get rid of a demolition card and a covering fire. No, an arrest card actually, because I don't need those. In order to change the coordinates of the ship, of where we're heading, I'm going to change it to C, which we know already is Earth. If you're playing the semi-cooperative mode, if you check stuff like engine status, coordinates, you don't show anyone else. You can tell them or lie, but you don't show them. And with that, I think we'll move... Do we move carefully? No, we won't move carefully. My other action, I'll just discard covering fire, and we'll move to that northmost room there, and hope for the best. I need to come around this side of the camera. Apologies, there might be a shadow. We're wandering down this corridor, into this room. We found the laboratory, which is actually really good if I go back for that corpse, because we could find an intruder weakness. What's wrong with the room though? The room is broken. It's malfunctioned. 4 items in it though. I accidentally got a lot of high item rooms. So there's 4 items in there, but it is malfunctioning, which does have a token. I'll look it out in a minute. That means we can't use the room function of it until it's repaired. If you ever run out of token, like the game comes with a very specific amount of malfunction tokens and fire tokens. If you ever can't place one and you need another one, the ship explodes and you just lose. The game will find hilarious ways to kill you. So I need to do a noise roll. Almost forgot. See, when you're thinking strategy, you're easily to forget these things. Are you kidding me? Okay, fine. Noise in every corridor that didn't have noise. So that's these 2 corridors there. So I can't linger in this room very long then. That's a thing. And I do still have 2 cards left. And it is, again, because I'm playing with 1 character, just my turn again. Don't need to pass it over to anybody. I think I'll do a search. Like the actual search card that we showed before. And because I'm in a green room, it's different item pool. Just in case I get hurt, I think this could be useful. So I'll just draw the 2 cards. Can you see them here? Yep, you can. Put it there. And there, well, That is synthetic food. Oh, synthetic food or synthetic food. You discard one card to draw 2 actions, so you're gaining 1, basically. I'll put that along the bottom of my bar. You can hold as many generic items as you want, but heavy items, which have a symbol, you can only have 1 of those in each hand, and it's possible to have your hand injured, so you can only hold 1 as well. Last card in my hand, speaking of which, is that Nerves of Steel card that I refuse to get rid of because I want it to protect me against an alien attack. So we go straight to the end phase. Let's just keep going and just do it right here, because we didn't do much that turn. So top event card, because again there's no fire or anything to deal with. I will get the malfunction token, don't worry. Hunt. Move every... Isn't this the same card as the last time? It is. I did shuffle this, I promise. But no. So then we go to bag development. I'm not used to using this hand for this, but shake it up a little bit and we're going to draw this one. It's another larva token, so we know what that does. That means that this goes away, an adult token gets put in the bag instead. There are aliens in this game, I promise. Also, I forgot to tick down the round timer when I just did that event phase there. I've done that now. I put the malfunction token on the square I'm on. I've drawn back to 5 cards. Can't really do much else with them other than move, and I do want to move. I think my best bet might be to move carefully to try and control where the noise comes from, because the route I want to take around the ship. I mean, technically, all I need to do now is live. That's boring, but it is possible. I could just chill, go to rooms carefully, the aliens would probably not appear, and then once turn 8 kicks around, get back in the Hybernatorium. We know we're going to Earth, we know the engines are fine, we win. That's boring though, and I want to actually find an alien and have a little scrap, which might be famous last words. So we're not going to move carefully. I'm going to discard interruption. Again, it's not relevant if you're playing solo or pure co-op, so it's just used for discarding. And I'm going to move to the next room, which is this one to your right. Actually, let's just turn a little bit, that gives you a slightly better view. So we're going to walk through this corridor here, and we have found room covered in slime. I'm getting slimed in every orifice. Okay, so we found a room covered in slime. We're slimed 4 times from Sunday, and again there's 4 items in here, although I don't think this slimed room can actually have items because there's no numbers on it. And more importantly, that symbol on that node, which I'm not sure you can see, means that a door has slammed down behind us, so even if we wanted to go that way, we can't, unless I have a demolition card. Do I have a demolition card? Oh, I do actually. I could destroy it if I want to, but there's benefits to closed doors. It can slow down aliens if they're chasing you, for instance. Noise roll, that's the important part. That would be a 4. Is that bad? Oh, that's really bad. Finally! Good, okay, this is where the pain begins. Because there is a noise marker in the 4 corridor, it goes away, as does any other noise connected to the room, and we encounter an alien. So, we don't do the intruder bag development, but we do grab the bag. We shake the bag up, and we see it's most likely going to be an adult because of how many are in here now. But let's see. It's a larvae. So we've encountered a face hugger, essentially. I do have the miniatures here. One of them painted. So a face hugger has come out the wall and is going to attempt to surprise attack us. And normally, I will talk through what happens when an alien surprise attacks you normally, although I am going to use my Nerves of Steel card so it doesn't hurt me. You pull out the alien that's attacking you, you flip it over, and that's how severe... Oh, as I drop the card, that's how severe the surprise attack is. In the larva's case, it's 1, so as long as you have 1 card at least in your hand, it doesn't surprise attack you. I've got 4 in my hand, so it doesn't. So actually, I guess maybe you have to decide to use Nerves of Steel before this, you know whether or not you can defend against it, but I had 4 cards in my hand, so there wasn't much chance of it hurting me. So, the facehugger is still there though, and is still an issue. So I think it's time to do some combat, but I just want to quickly go double check the rules for when a larvae dies. Alright, I just wanted to double check I was right about what I was thinking. Larvae always have 1 HP. Usually the HP of the aliens is variable, which we'll probably cover at some point. But for now, the larvae just have 1 health. They're pretty easy to kill. I have enough cards in my hand that the surprise attack didn't go off. So I need to kill this thing though, because it will get an attack at the end of the turn if I don't. So I'm going to discard my rest card in order to initiate shooting. I'm going to take away... I've got 5 little red cubes on my assault rifle, like this one here. I'm removing it because I've shot once. And for shooting, we roll these red dice. And the hit marker means 1 damage, the double one means 2 in most cases, although some weapons negate that. And then there's also alien symbols. For the larvae, as long as we don't roll the blank, it's a hit. So we rolled the double hit. The assault rifle alone, if you deal 1 injury, it does it in 1 other. This larvae has been well and truly splatted by our gun. And that's one of my other actions, so we only have 1 left in technically this part of the turn. I think larvae leave behind alien corpses, although I don't really have any intention of going back to the laboratory to find a weakness because I'd have to open the door. And it's broken, and the soldier isn't very good at repairing. Still though, might as well have good habits. There's alternative alien races you can use, and one of them is definitely built around corpses, so it's just a good habit. We killed an alien, it leaves behind an alien corpse. And we do have 1 other action this turn. Now, we still have 3 turns to burn before I can hibernate at the earliest and end this game. So for my other action this turn, I'm going to move to that northmost room, I think. We'll get rid of our covering fire card to do it. We're going to come up here, and we've discovered... oh no. We've discovered the nest. I guess it makes sense that it's next to the slime room, although that's purely by chance. We found the nest. Depending on the card I draw at the end of the turn, this could be very bad. It should be broken, but the nest isn't malfunctionable, so you just ignore that for it. But you're in the nest. Oh, it did have items, all right. That was 2, was it? I think that was 2. I've just thrown away the thing and I didn't see. No, 1. Actually, no, the nest can't have items because you can do special actions to destroy the eggs, which sometimes is your mission. Or you can collect the eggs, which is also sometimes your mission. Noise roll! Normally it would be silent, but because I'm slimed, there is ways to get rid of slime. Incidentally, you can find an item that does it. You can find the shower room sometimes, although that's one of the rooms that isn't necessarily guaranteed to be on the ship because of the roguelike nature of it. So now there's noise all around me. I'm not in any danger this second, but it is the end of the round, so let's just do the end phase. Turn timer moves down to 11. We draw an event card because the alien's dead, so he doesn't get to do anything. Egg protection. Are you kidding me? Okay, hang on. I just realised I wasn't in focus because of how zoomed in I am. There you go. Resolve an encounter for each character who is in the nest or carrying an intruder egg. The worst possible timing ever. Okay, so I think that means something just spawns on me. Let me double check what it means by that, just to be sure. Yeah, I just wanted to double check the steps of an encounter. It does also include removing noise because you are getting spawned on. So those noise tokens are gone. We grab the bag. I would be amazed if it was not an adult or worse at this point. I'm pretty sure every larvae is gone from the bag. So, here we go. Let's try this one. I saw what number it was. It is an adult. It is warning level 3, which would normally mean it gets an attack off on me because I only have 2 cards left in my hand. But because I'm playing as the soldier, I'm going to discard/use. Oops. Discard/use Nerves of Steel. Discard during a surprise attack to ignore its effects. So I am doing exactly that. I've been holding on to that for specifically this reason. But there is an intruder on the board. At this point, if you were playing semi-cooperatively, you have to pick which of your 2 objective cards you're doing. But because we're playing solo, it doesn't matter. But yeah, they take up a lot of space. They are not small. They are very, very large and very dangerous. Now, because he spawned during the event phase, there isn't any steps for him to do right now, but running away from him is also dangerous, as is fighting him. So give me a minute to decide on what my strategy is going to be. Alright, aliens are no joke. I've drawn a new hand of 5 cards, and I'm going to start by, for my first action this turn, using Taking Aim, which is a 0-cost card for the soldier. And I'll just read it for you. Perform a shoot action with your energy weapon. You can re-roll your first result on the combat die. So that's my second of 5 ammo gone. We're going to roll the combat die. As long as I do 1 hit, it does 2 because of the special rule on the gun itself. And I did 2. So I actually did 3. And how this works for something that isn't a larvae is you draw an intruder attack card, and his HP is equal to the number in the top left. If it's an arrow, it means you've driven it off. It'll run away, but it won't die. So, again, I've already shuffled the intruder attack deck. Top card is here. He actually had 2 HP. That is very, very low Again, you don't need to worry about the rest of the card really, but I apologise for it not being in focus fully. I'm too zoomed in at the top of the table. So he had 2 health, which means he did die. So we got lucky there. The adult is gone. We will be seeing more of them though. I need another corpse token. Again, not that I'm really planning on doing much with them, but better to be in good habit than bad habit. And I still have 1 action left, and we need to get out of the nest. But I'm still slimed, which makes moving annoying. I'm going to discard a demolition and basic repair card as my other action to move carefully, so that I can move or put the noise where I want. And we're going to leave the nest and come through to find, what is this? Surgery. So this is the room where if you have grievous injuries you can get rid of them. What's wrong with it? Nothing. It's only got 2 items in it, which isn't very much. But a door slams down behind me again, pardon me, which is actually a good thing if anything spawns in the nest, because the first time they try and follow me they'll destroy the door instead of getting to me. Noise roll though, that's the important part. Oh wait, no, sorry, move carefully. I get to pick where the noise goes. I'm going to put it in that corridor I just came from. Right there. So it sounds like something from the nest is following him, because honestly it probably is. And then, again, because I'm just using 1 character, it's just me again, and I'm going to search the room twice, I think. Because the last 2 cards in my hand are 2 search cards. So I'm just going to get rid of both of them and do 2 search actions, and then that's the end of the round, because I've got no cards left. So that means we're doing 2 green items twice. Let me pull back a little bit so you can see better. I'll put them like roughly there. First 2 items to choose from. Oops. A med kit or a med kit. I'll take a med kit, thank you. And then the other 2, again, I swear I shuffled these. I need to get better at my shuffling game, clearly. Put that at the bottom. Then we've got another med kit or bandages. I think those also were not on camera, were they? I thought they were, apologies. There we go. I think you can discard a med kit and oh no. To make an antidote you would need a flammable thing and a healing thing. I guess I'll take the 2 med kits, because why not? They seem really good and they're better than bandages as far as I'm aware. So sure. But that is end of round. So we tick down to turn 10. There's no intruders on board, there's no fire. We go straight to drawing an event card, which I have done. There's nothing to move. The symbol up there would mean, like, for instance, adults would move through tunnel 4, wherever that is. Noise in technical corridors. Place a noise marker in the technical corridor. There's already 1 in there. If there isn't already 1 in there. If there is, each character in a room with a technical corridor entrance performs a noise roll. Oh no, I'm not. Aha! I sometimes, like, this is a bad habit I have. I sometimes mistake the number or the red arrow denoting how many searches are left in a room with the red dot, which is for, like, for instance here, which you can't quite see. Oh, you can see 1 there. For the room having a technical corridor connected to it. So I got lucky there, very much so, which makes up for being in the nest when I drew an event card related to the nest. And yeah, back to drawing my cards. Alright, I've drawn up to a new hand. I've got Nerves of Steel back in my hand, which is fantastic. I'm going to be holding on to that again. Incidentally, let me know if you prefer kind of like long range angles or if you want it nice and close. I think a mix of the 2 work best, but again, you can let me know. So, my plan was originally to keep on going around the outside of the ship to the engines so I could check them, but we already know, because we got lucky finding engine control, that we're fine engine wise. So I think my game plan, I've only got 2 more turns to burn. This room, come back to the Hibernatorium and try and get in it while I still have ammo to protect myself, because if I run out of ammo this plan is not going to work, and I haven't found any red rooms so I can't get more ammo. On that note, let's get rid of, I've just got the interrupt card, again you just have to take my word for it, and we're going to move to this room up here, which is the generator room. Initiate or stop the self-destruct sequence, and again, as it happens, it's only got 1 item in it, which is okay, it's a yellow room, so we turn it that way. But again, another door, I think the ship AI is playing tricks on me, another door slams down behind me. Now I don't have, oh no, I do have 1 search card. I think the yellow deck does have ammo in it as well, it's just not as common as the red deck. So I'll get rid of my search card. I do have a search card, here it is, to search that room. which means that we draw 2 yellow because it's a yellow room. I think I forgot to take down the... oh yeah, this is at 0 now because I double searched it. And this is down to 2 because I... 0 because I searched it. Now, other yellow card. So it's either chemicals, which is flammables, or a fire extinguisher, which is a heavy item. Chemicals can fully load ammo into a flamethrower. It can also be used to craft an antidote with a healing item. It can also craft a flamethrower if you had some tools. The fire extinguisher, what does this do? Discard a fire marker from the room you're in or use on one intruder to make it retreat. I'll take that. I'll take the fire extinguisher. So that's in my right hand. My left hand is my gun, so I can't carry any more heavy items. And those chemicals get discarded. Oh, I didn't roll for noise, did I? No, I didn't. 3. Perfectly fine, okay. Again, it's as if something's following me, because where that door just closed, we're hearing suspicious noises from the tunnels. Or the corridors, rather. So I've got 3 cards left in my hand. Let's see, I think I'm going to let the turn tick over, and then make the next turn take up my next room, and then at turn 8, which is the earliest possible time you can get back into the hibernatorium, in the middle of the map there, just go for it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to end the turn there. I've got 3 cards in my hand. There's no intruders, no fire. We go straight to drawing an event card. Lurking. Let's see what this says. Remove from the board all intruders which are not in a room with a character. Put their respective tokens in the bag. I'm getting very lucky with these, with the exception of the one where I was in the nest. Turn timer also goes down to 9. And then it's another turn for me. Alright, that room to the south of me is my target. I'm going to discard a rest card to just trust in moving noisily. And we're going to move and find... oh, we found a red room, so that's good. A monitoring room. Check one room and explore... oh, so you can see what other places are without actually having to go to them. Okay, I did shuffle the question mark icons as well, but apparently I ended up putting all the doors next to each other. That can happen. Variance is a thing. So there's 3 items in here, but yet again, another door slams down behind me. I feel like I'm being corralled by the ship. And we do a noise roll before I forget, because that's the important part. I rolled the silent, which again would normally be absolutely fantastic, but because I've been slimed for the entire game, it is not. So there's noise there, there's already noise in the technical corridor, and noise there. We are, as you say, surrounded. Do I have a search card? Nope. No, I do not. Oh, I do have the basic repair card. I forgot he does have exactly 1 card you can use to repair rooms. That is a problem. Because if I want to move to the hibernatorium next turn, there's 2 potential places where noise can go that wouldn't summon an enemy. Then when you want to get in the hibernatorium, you have to roll for noise, so that's another chance of an enemy appearing. I think we're going to have to fight. But do I initiate this turn? If I hold on to the nerves of steel, I won't get surprise attacked. And if I move carefully, I can dictate where it goes this turn. Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to discard covering fire and basic repairs as my other action to move carefully, or aka careful movement as the game calls it. I'm going to move back into the hibernatorium room. I'm going to dictate where the noise goes, and I'll choose here. And then I have to hope that I roll a 1 when I try and get in the hibernatorium. I won't, but that's fine because I still have 3 ammo, so I can hopefully fight off or use the fire extinguisher to chase off whatever spawns to try to kill me. For now though, I'm definitely passing. So we go to turn 8, and if I can bring the camera down, apologies if it's a little shaky. When you pass this point, that symbol denotes right there that the hibernatorium is now open for business. Still need to draw an event card though, which I have right here. Evacuation pod ejection. Launch the escape pod token with the lowest number, then remove this event from the game and reshuffle the event deck including everything you've discarded so far. So that one goes away forever. I take the event cards we've done already, shuffle them together with the ones we haven't done yet. Just doing that real quick. And the escape pod with the lowest number leaves the ship. That's not going to be relevant because we didn't get an objective related to getting off the ship. We're trying to make the ship survive, and it's going disturbingly well, to be honest. which makes me think I've forgotten something. They should have screwed me over earlier, but hey. We'll pan out, come over here just a little bit, because the lowest number escape pod is at the top of your screen. This is escape pod number 4. You randomise the escape pods as part of the game setup. Escape pod 3, which is at the top of the board, it turns itself on and fires itself into space. So one less way to escape. And with that, we start what could be the final turn of the game. Yeah, let's just keep going. Well, I need to reposition the camera, but this is to make sure that I'm being legit, in case anyone thinks I'm cheating these rolls. So I've got 2 cards in my hand, so I'm drawing 3. 1, 2, 3. There was only 3 left to draw. And I'm going to try and get in, which means I immediately roll for noise. Very likely to spawn an intruder unless it's a 1. It is a silent, which is actually good, because that means it becomes the danger symbol because I'm slimed. So noise gets generated there, but no intruder spawns. I get back in my hibernatorium, and I actually just won, which makes me think that I did something very wrong there, because that went too smoothly, although I've never played a game with just one character. Maybe that's part of the problem, or benefit, because we're going to Earth, we checked the coordinates, we changed them from Venus to Earth, we know 2 of the engines are fixed, our objective card was that we are going to Earth. Actually, maybe you're supposed to draw 2 objective cards when you're playing solo. I mean, this game is still going to be over, but let's double check. Yep, I wish I'd trusted my instincts. Page 27, solo mode variant. You're supposed to draw 2 objectives and make sure you do both of them. Yeah, that seemed too easy. So no wonder. I might have accidentally done another objective. So I have the solo objective, and again, just to prove I'm not doing anything dodgy, I'm going to shuffle, and then we're going to cut the deck randomly and take you. You're my other objective. What was it? First contact protocol, at least 2 intruder weaknesses must be discovered, so I haven't done it. So that actually means we've lost, because I was supposed to draw 2 objectives. Could I have done that? Yes. If I'd taken this body and one of the alien corpses, couldn't take them simultaneously, you'd have to take one, then backtrack and take the other to the laboratory that we found at the top left, which was broken, which I need to repair it as well. If I take those to that room, use that room action after it's repaired, you discover alien weaknesses. So I could have done it, but obviously that would have made the game longer, made more chances for the intruders coming to get me, because I'd have to backtrack a bunch, I'd definitely run out of ammo, and it'd be a lot more difficult. So I accidentally made it easy on myself by doing a single objective, but for an initial game, to see how it does on the channel, I think that's okay. My goal is to play one more game with just a single character, probably the soldier again, just because I think he fits solo very well. Then, if it's popular enough, do more games and have a standard size game solo where I use 2 characters. Maybe they work together, maybe they don't. I haven't fully decided. We'll see. But that is a look at Nemesis. I apologise for technically doing it wrong by only doing 1 objective instead of 2. I knew something was up because it was going too well, and the game just kills you, and it wasn't just killing me fast enough. But I hope you enjoyed regardless. Apologies for anything done wrong, but thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video for some more Nemesis. Until then, ta-ta for now.